Hi guys, today we are doing the Q&A video. I didn't do my crazy hair because I feel really lazy, so I did this little makeup look and the black lipstick, which honestly I don't know if I'm quite vibing with it, but I had asked you guys to ask me questions on a community post and on my last little video, and I got a ton of questions, so I was like, it's, what time is it? 11 o'clock at night, and, oh, well, I guess that's fine. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night, and we're chilling, and I just decided why not, now's the time as good as any. About my camera situation, I got this new phone, and I'm working on it, but I'm having some issues with it, so the focus flicker, it might go in and out of focus a little bit, but it shouldn't have that, like, color flicker. I don't see that happening, so right now I'm using a camera app because my camera, it's supposed to be really good, and I'm having all these issues with it, but I'm going to get into the questions, and they are in no particular order necessarily. They are just as I got them off of the computer because I put them all in like a notepad, and I'm just going to go ahead and like read them off and answer them for you guys. I was really shocked to have gotten enough. I didn't know if I would, and I was like, oh, I'm going to ask for questions and I'm not going to get enough to do a video. But I did, and you guys are amazing. So I'll answer, I think this is every question I got. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to say like the first part of your name, or if you have a short name, then I'll just say like that, but like, not the whole username, because like how I put it on here. Yeah. So my first question, hopefully you guys are okay with that. The names, like people usually say, yeah, that should be fine. Anyway, first question, from Annie. Hi, Annie. Your question was in my song Dumpster Fire, where it says, "Who are you? Don't be scared. I promise I'm not gonna hurt you." And you asked if that's my own voice. It's actually not. It is from one of my very few favorite films, which is Silent Hill. I think there's only one of them. I'm talking about the original. I don't know if there's been anything else, but the original Silent Hill, where they go to the town. It's got Pyramid Head in it. The original Silent Hill. It is, I believe, there's a cop character in that film, and she goes to, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen Silent Hill. It's like a 20-year-old movie, 22 years old. But she's a female cop, and she finds a little girl, and she's, "Who are you? Don't be scared. I promise I'm not going to hurt you." And then the higher pitched voice is the little girl talking to her. And that's all I'm going to say in case you haven't seen it. You should go watch it. It is such a good, like, I don't like horror. I mean, I used to, but it got really boring for me personally, and it's such a good, like, horror film. Silent Hill, classic story, video game turned movie, and they did it amazingly. I can't speak for the second one, but that first one, it is one of my favorite films of all time. I resonate with the character and Samantha in it, and it's such a good film. And the CG is really good for, I believe it was 2001 when it came out, so that's what that's from. And I take that as inspiration from all the emo bands who take clips out of old films or shows. Like in the new Pierce the Veil album, they have a clip from Fast Times at Ridgemont High in their song Resilience, I believe. And so, like, I wanted to, like, call back to those old school when people used to do that a lot more. That's, like, my favorite thing, when they have a little movie quote or something in a song. It just adds so much, so there'll probably be a lot more of those in songs, and little Easter eggs. And they'll always be from, like, my favorite things, probably, because I'm lame like that. But from Link, what are your favorite bands? And they said they love hearing about people's music interests and why they're special. And I believe Annie commented and said that MCR, Pierce the Veil, and Grimes, which is kind of true. Kind of true. If you don't like Grimes, I'm so sorry. Please bear with me. Her music's amazing. It is. MCR probably is the most influential and top band of my entire life. I've been obsessed with them since I was like 13, 14 years old, and musically and talent-wise and storytelling and lyricism, they in my opinion, cannot be beat. They have paved, like, not paved the way, but they have, like, solidified themselves as a true rock band. Like, their fan base is unlike any other. I'm in MCR fan groups, that shit gets crazy. Like, they are the top, to me, top tier. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all I listen to, because I am insanely obsessed with music. I literally, that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, and I go through phases. So I'll have my MCR phase. There's not a lot of new stuff to work with, if you know what I'm saying. So I'll have, like, that phase, and then I'll go into, like, Pierce the Veil or whatever. But other bands I like besides Pierce the Veil, which is really big for me right now, I listen to them all the time. I do love Grimes. I listened to, I had a pause there because I was like, I don't know if I want to tell you guys this, but I like Lana Del Rey, classic, of course. She's so insanely talented. But there's so much other music that I listen to right now. Paramore, I listen to so much, so it's hard to be like, oh, well, my top favorite, like, obviously it's these bands, but then there's even more that I'm gonna, like, turn the video off and be like, oh, fuck, shit, like, I didn't think about mentioning them, and they're, like, my number one, because, like, I'm also obsessed with 100 gecs and Fraxium, and if you don't know who Fraxium is and you do know who 100 gecs is, please go look up Fraxium, because they are insane. They're amazing, and I absolutely adore everything they come out with. They actually have a band with Tony Hawk's son, and his name's Guppy, or like a project, and if you like hyperpop, holy shit, like, that stuff is another favorite. So it's like, I could talk about favorites all day, but I need to go to the next question. So I hope that answered your question, because Annie's comment was right. I think it was Annie, but also, like, I literally just consume music. Like, I will listen, you know, I have my favorite genres, hyperpop, emo, rock, but I will listen to a plethora of things. One thing I will say, I don't listen to a lot of the old school, back in the day, emo singles, because I have heard them nonstop since 2019 when the Scene Revival started, and if I hear Face Down again, even though I have a t-shirt of it, I can't hear Face Down again. So it's like picking and choosing, and trying to expand my music horizon. So I'm gonna go on to the next question, I swear. Isis, do I know any other scenes or emos in real life, and what are my favorite movie series? Yes, I have several alt emo friends. I don't go out very much, but I have friends on Facebook that live very close to me that are emo, that we're supposed to be meeting up soon. I have emo friends that are going to the Pierce the Veil show with me. I have seen friends on the internet, but those are a lot harder to find. So, like, classic alt, like, kind of more adult, lazy goth, a lot of people call it, but I do have emo friends for sure, and my husband is emo as hell, so, like, they're out there, and I love them so much, and they're definitely the best. Like, definitely do. I know a couple of scene girls, and it's honestly so sad, because every time I befriend one or we add each other on Facebook, turns out she lives in Australia or something, or the UK. Like, I live in Central Florida, and people's style here is just, it's also, like, so hot, so it's hard to do, like, that's the reason why I didn't do the extensions. It's really hot and hard to dress like that, but I do have friends that are. And Ava said, who inspired me to start dressing like this? Which I could make an entire video about, and we'll probably have a video about in the future. But there's a lot of factors. I had a very close best friend when I was at a very, like, pivotal moment, pivotal age in my life. And she had a big sister, and her sister was so cool, and she got all the CDs, and she introduced us to MySpace. She was like, if you remember in the early 2000s, there were, like, scene girls that were still preppy, right? And they would do, like, kind of scene style and kind of scene hair, but they didn't go the full, like, dark emo. That's kind of what her big sister was, and I really looked up to her, and I was like, I need to know more about this culture. And then my best friend would get the albums from her sister, and we would listen to them. I really genuinely think one of the first alt bands that I ever heard was Good Charlotte from their first album. I cannot remember the name of it right now, which bothers me because I still love it. But we got their first album and it changed my life, and I started getting introduced to Green Day. I heard Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy. Like, this goes way, way, way back to old school, because as soon as I learned about it, that was the goal. And, like, that was my straight line toward, like, emo-dom. By the time past in the next few years, I was totally into it, and, like, trying to use black eyeshadows, black lipstick, and trying to rip my pants and draw all over my pants and draw my shoes and do the emo swoop and dye my hair black. I dyed my hair black at like 14 and my mom was pissed. And now here I am, all I want is black hair. Like, out of every color, I'm just like, oh, it's so easy and I love it, and it's dark and it looks good with everything. So it was, I ramble a bit, I'm so sorry, but it was very early. I would have to say my bestie's big sister. She was an icon. She's still an icon. I think I have her on Facebook, and they're both amazing, even though I don't really talk to that best friend much anymore. Love her, support her. She literally introduced me to this whole world. If not for her, I probably would have still found it, but she's definitely the reason why I was getting into this at like 12 years old. So my camera's in the way. Rioluon Quest. There, I said your whole name. I hope I got it right, because I try really hard. What's my favorite drink? That one is literally so easy. It is any variation of coffee. Frozen coffee is probably my favorite, but I obviously can't buy or drink that every day. So then iced coffee, regular coffee, energy drinks, anything with caffeine, which I know is absolutely insane, but the truth, my lipstick's getting kind of gross because it's old. I haven't worn it in forever, and I wanted to do something special for the video, and I think I have to throw it away after this. But coffee, friggin' loaded, creamered up, sweetener, all that stuff, not black, that's gross. If I had to get into more detail, I would probably say a frozen, like amaretto, toasted almond, kind of something like that. Coconut's pretty good too, but I'd say like toasted almond, amaretto coffee is so insane. I would pick that over any dessert. I would pick that over any drink, even alcohol. If I had to pick between like alcohol and coffee, I don't even like alcohol, so it would be coffee every time, but like over anything. I used to be addicted to soda, and I switched to coffee because I figured it was better than soda, and then I became addicted to coffee. I have a really hard time drinking water, but it's literally so good. Like, I cannot go without it, even though I've done better lately. I've barely drank very much coffee, but behind that, you know, energy drinks sounds kind of funny, but I genuinely do love Blue Monsters. Those are so good. I tried the new Strawberry Monster. I wasn't a big fan. Tried like every other kind of low calorie or low sugar monster. Not a big fan, but that blue one is insane and probably way worse for you than coffee. So other than that, tea, water. I just had boba like last week. I went on a boba date with my husband, and that was kind of gross. I got like a strawberry one with the strawberry bursts, and those were good, but I don't like having milk in my tea, and they put milk in it, and I thought it would just be like strawberry iced tea because I'm an idiot. And next time I go, I want to try the lemonade because the boba's not where it's at. Or strawberry milkshake. But is that a drink? Another drink I just thought of. If you guys have ever had, oh my god, it's so good. If you've ever had the Fanta Mystery Green frozen thing from Burger King or Wawa, that shit slaps so hard, and I can't find it anywhere because it was a limited edition, and I would drink that until I threw up. Another Allie XX, asked a few questions, so I'm gonna get into all of them and I'm gonna try to be faster because it's 15 minutes. Holy shit, I talk a lot. Do I like geocaching? Yes, I think it's very cool. And do I do geocaching? No, I think it's very cool. I wanted to. Researched about it, found out that some things were kind of dangerous, and Florida's a little bit crazy, so we decided it probably wasn't safe. We used to explore abandoned places, and there were a few times where that proved to be quite unsafe, so no geocaching. Where do I get my extensions? I get my extensions on Amazon. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not great, but I'm broke. If you're broke, just look up the length and real human hair extensions and go from there, and you should be able to find a lot of the companies. I don't know exactly where mine are in the box or what the company name is, but if I find it, maybe I can link it below or reply to your comment and I'll tell you directly. Do I like baking? Not necessarily. I do enjoy like making brownies and stuff, but like I used to have to decorate cakes as like a job, so like baking is eh. Am I a good DIYer? I like to think so, but I never finish projects. I have done more DIY projects than I can count, and I have probably finished about 3.5 of those. But yes, I love DIYing. I've done a ton of DIY. I would show you something, but I don't necessarily know what behind me. Oh, well, here's one thing. Hold on. I did this. My husband got me spikes for my birthday or something, and this used to have a big bow ring on it, so I just chopped that off and then added these spikes. It's not the most DIY thing, but it's something. So yeah, I definitely like to do it. I just wish I could finish. Do I like frogs? You despise them. I love frogs. I'm a little bit of like a critter lover. I just really adore animals. That was kind of gross because she shoved her nose in my mouth. But, yes, I really, really adore animals. But, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't like them jumping on me either. Like, I know a lot of people are scared because they jump on you and they pee on you and they're gross. And they are kind of gross, but I still love them. But I'm not, like, picking them up and kissing them like my cat because they're slimy. But I do love them. Room tour. Sure, 100%. I will do that. It's very small, but yes. Maybe my next video, maybe the one after that, but sure, I'll give you a room tour and talk more about the random weird things that I have. And then let's see. 1 second, I lost my place. I see it's because you left a little comment there. And then your next question was opinion on multiverses and multiple realities. I don't, without sounding too crazy, yes, 100%. Do I know? Have I researched? No. But do I believe? 100%. I love Glitch in the Matrix things, and I love creepy, spooky, like, anything like that. Any science, philosophy about space, time, multiverses. I love it all, and I'll talk about it. Sorry, that's a Facebook notification. I'll talk about it, I'll research it, but do I know a lot about it? No. Do I think it's 100%? Come on, focus, my dear. Do I think it's 100% possible, plausible, legit? Definitely, probably. Definitely had enough weird experiences in my life to know that, yeah, it's probably a thing. And then Vnok. When did I first get into emo scene? You started in like 2012. See, if I was 12 or 13, I graduated in 2008, so like 2003? Wow, that's crazy, because that's pretty early on. I mean, there is an emo grunge kind of influence from the 90s that a lot of people tend to not think about when they bring up regular emo. I also had a misunderstood goth big sister, but she was more into rap and things like Korn and Marilyn Manson. So I got some from there, but like, yeah, definitely I would say 2003, because I'm old. But yeah, I don't know what to do. What's my favorite band? Like I said, MCR, but there's so much good music out there. There's not one solid, like, constant favorite. It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows constantly. I want all of the music in my brain, and actually we'll explain that in another video. I want to tell you guys about something, and you just gave me a great idea. So thank you, and I'm not going to say anything else about it because I'm going to save it for video. But thank you for that idea, for asking me my favorite band. Anyway, how do I feel about Brendon Urie and Panic at the Disco breaking up? To be honest, I liked Panic at the Disco when they were a MySpace band. And I was like 13, and their first album, Fever You Can't Sweat Out, iconic, amazing album. And then another album, I don't know if it's their second or like a little later on, Pretty Odd. That album was very interesting and experimental. Loved that. Haven't really listened to anything else since that. Just not a big fan of like his behavior, a lot of the things that I've heard from the industry and stories, and just like I never liked the band enough to get more into the discography. Like, it's not quite as hard as bands like The Used, MCR, Pierce Veil, or other bands like that, so I just kind of like, it's kind of like that with Fall Out Boy too, like, and of course, please don't get me wrong, mad respect, Emo Kings, just not my personal favorite. I also think that the memes are really funny that Brendon Urie split up Panic at the Disco when it's only him left. Like, he's the only original band member, so that was a kick. Do I like the new Paramore album? I actually do. I think it is far, I was going to say far more superior, but what I mean is, like, I think it's really structured very well, and I think that they do take a lot of influences from their old sound more than people like to give them credit for, because when you want a band to sound like their old selves, you just are straight up like, why don't they sound like 2007 Paramore? And it's like, they're never going to. That album is solid, though. I really love This Is Why, but that's the single. Running Out of Time, beautiful music video. If you haven't seen the music video, go watch it. It's insanely gorgeous. And I think C'est Comme Ça is another one of my favorite songs. Figure 8 is amazing. She sounds insane in that album. Her singing is impeccable. And if I could see any concert, what would it be? It would 100% be My Chemical Romance, because when they came back, I had the money and desperately tried to get tickets and could not acquire tickets and cried about it, and like what I would give to see them in concert, to go and like see Gerard. And I know a lot of people like fangirl over Gerard, but for me personally, he's like, I don't want to say an idol, but I definitely look up to him. Like, I more want to be him than I want to have him, if that makes any sense. Like, I appreciate that man has like molded me into what I am today. So it would 100% be them. If I picked anybody else, it would be Blasphemous. And speaking of blasphemy, the last question, which I am kind of glad is the last question, because it is probably, no offense to anybody else, I loved all your questions, but this one is an interesting one. And she asked me what religion I believe in. And again, without getting too weird or freaky and scare people off, I believe in anything that isn't what you would call organized religion. I was raised in a very, very Christian Southern household with very Christian Southern beliefs, and this is how I turned out. By the way, I wore this shirt because it has a little me on it. It's a little MySpace shirt. Ugh. There, you can see it. And it's got like a top 8, and then there's a little Billy Joe. I think it's Billy Joe. And then like the pictures and songs and the inbox and everything. The picture just says, or the song just says emo playlist. But, yeah. Anyway, getting off track, what religion do I believe in? Growing up in a Christian household like that, I had a lot of questions, and a lot of my questions were shrugged off, and I was told to not ask questions and to just believe and obey, and I find something fundamentally wrong with that kind of system. I grew to really love science. I absolutely adore learning about space and the stars and physics and atoms and all of those things and the universe, and I am very of the belief that we are simply just, how do I say it without it being cheesy? Just like the universe experiencing itself in every way, shape, and form. And I don't want to sound too hippie or weird. It's just, you know, you gotta go your own path. You can't, like, if organized religion is what feels right to you, then that's what's right. Like, that's just, you create your own reality. And I could literally talk about this for hours and get into it, but I don't want to freak anybody out until I, like, you know, we'll just dip our toe and then we'll put a pin in that and then come back to it. But whatever is right for you is the right choice, and that's all that it should be. And for me, that choice is the universe, science. And I can't say science is right. Most things are hypothesis, and there's this religion, and there's Buddhism, and there's Christianity, and there's Catholicism. And for me, anything that is not a man telling me what I should believe, and I don't mean that in a sexist way, I just mean there's something weird about religion when you're taking it from someone else's perspective, in my perspective. When you go to a church and you're being preached to by a pastor who's telling you his feelings and what's inside of him, but what you need to really search is what's inside of you. And that's what I've been doing most of my life, is just finding what works for me. And what works for me is feeling very connected to the world and other people and animals and nature and all that crazy hippie shit, because we really are, if you believe in God, Buddha, Satanism, which is just kind of a whole thing that we could talk about, kind of an anti to organized religion in a way. I might be wrong about that. I don't know much, but that's not what this is about. I would say I've heard it be called pantheism, I believe, but my thing is like, it doesn't really need a label. It's just simply about existing and being alive and doing what it is that you want to do with your life, and being a good person, obviously, but learning. I would say, like, at the end of the day, that's what I would call my religion, is just like knowledge, which sounds really pretentious and really lame, but very true. Is I feel like I'm on the planet to learn and explore and experience and nothing more, because that's how I feel we were designed. And I hope that's not too freaky or weird for you guys. Obviously, I think you're very open-minded, probably, and cool, but you asked the questions, trying to give the honest answers, and I hope that was okay. So now I'm going to go, I'll just ignore that. I'm going to go start planning the video idea that I came up with from you asking me that question, and I'm going to go get some Taco Bell, and I'm going to start working on when I'll do the room tour, because you wanted that, so I will do that for you as well. I guess I have to start cleaning. So I love you guys. I will see you in the next few days. I'm sorry the upload's been spaced out. They won't be next time. And here's another long form video for you. So I love you, and as always, bye.